Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the news this Monday morning. And we have Liz Cheney possibly becoming the Speaker of the House of Republicans when they house after the midterms. That's right. That's what one of the Democrat top advisors is saying. He's out there, John. We're dead. John Cargill is after saying that it's possible that Trump won't run. Biden will offer Trump a pardon, and Liz Cheney will be the Republican Speaker of the House come in 2023. Oh my gosh, there's a lot to break down. Alright, says Carville predicts Trump won't run in 2024, and Liz Cheney will become the next Speaker of the House. That's right. A former Clinton advisor and political consultant, James Carville, I've made some far-fetched predictions about who will be on the 2024 per that presidential election ballot. During the talk part of the Alabama-based Parsa speaking series, Carville first predicted that former President Donald Trump nor President Joe Biden would run in 2024. He said, "I don't think Trump or Biden will be on the ballot in 2024. I'm going to be 78 in less than a month, and country needs a generational change." He added, "I think they're going to get it during the question and answer part of the program." Carville was asked about the future to January 6 committee. If Republicans take back Congress in November. He says, I'm going to give you all two predictions. Carville said the first prediction is within a year, Biden pardons Trump. Biden says you have to ask for it, and you have to admit guilt. Carville said, "I think at a point you say, now you have to talk to the Fulton County, Georgia DA. That's not part of the deal. That's not presidential." Carville added. The second prediction is the next Speaker to House, drumroll please, Liz Cheney. He added it is very possible outcome that the Republicans win the House by 3 seats. He said you'll have to remember something, the entire House elects a Speaker. Being Speaker's like being the Pope, yet you don't have to be Catholic to be the Pope. The former Clinton advisor argued. Carville said Liz Cheney could win the speakership by swaying 4 Republicans and all of the Democrats if the GOP won to House by a 3-member majority. Last month, Cheney vowed to leave the Republican Party if foreign President Donald Trump becomes the presidential 2024 nominee. Cheney also promised to campaign for Democrats and stop GOP-nominated Kari Lake from being elected in Arizona's gubernatorial race. "I'm going to do everything I can to make sure Kari Lake is not elected." Cheney said so. But see, this is the problem with James Carville's prediction. First, don't see the GOP only winning by 3 seats, the GOP winning by at least 30 seats in the House of Representatives this coming election. So that possibility of Liz Cheney possibly being the Speaker of the House, I don't see that happening and moving forward. So even though he has that pinned in there as a possible outcome, I wouldn't rule it out either based off of things that we've seen happened in the past. So again, let's Cheney's being Speaker of the House. That could be disastrous. However, again, I don't believe that it will be the case. I don't think Liz Cheney will be the Speaker of the House. In the next Congress, I just don't see a path of possibility outside of what James Carville just said if the Republicans only win the House by a few seats. And right now, the way the map is shaping out, it looks like the Republicans are going to gain at least somewhere between 20 to 35 seats in Congress this coming election. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think it's possible for Liz Cheney to become the new Speaker of the House of Representatives? And oh, Stacey real mad, Stacey angry is what I'm assuming Stacey Abrams sounds like behind closed doors as she receives this devastating news. But for real though, Stacey Abrams is pissed her entire legacy. Is that a failure? If you really think about Democrats prop her up as a patron saint. They literally pray to Stacey Abrams as if she's some sort of deity, and no, that's not a joke. This really exists, but Stacey Abrams' entire legacy, her entire career, is that of failure. One massive big, fat hell, and it's really no mystery. I mean, it seems to be a mystery only to her and her supporters. Stacey Abrams, of course, having a history of refusing to accept basic reality that she's not as popular as she thinks she is outside of leftist circles and Twitter. It took her a real long time to accept the fact that she lost her 2018 election. There's a whole lot of cope when it comes to Stacey Abrams. A whole lot of confusion. How could Stacey Abrams possibly lose? She's so popular, she's so grand, she's so incredible, but it's really no mystery at all because the stances that she takes, the identity that she crafts for herself is garbage. I mean, her claim to fame, the big thing that shocked Stacey Abrams to start them was their activism against voter ID. She's flipped-flopped a couple times. But really, we know what voter suppression really is. We've even heard it out of her own mouth. Voter suppression, according to her, is the enforcement of having to prove your identity before you vote in a democratic election. How incredibly stupid! No wonder Stacey Abrams continues to fail, because what kind of stance is that? What kind of political position is that? I believe that it is racist and discriminatory, and voter suppression to hold up the standard that people should have to show something as basic as a driver's license in order to vote. What are you saying? You know, because my black people and stuffs. Are you okay? In what universe? Does that make sense? It was a dumb hill to die on. And now Stacey Abrams has tried to rebrand herself as an abortion activist, advocating for this medical procedure all the way up to 9 months. And again, it's no wonder there's no confusion here as to why Stacey Abrams' career is one massive big fat L. It's as clear as day. It's obvious. There's no denying it. It's because her stances are simply bad, to keep it in layman terms. Bad stance, illogical, lose support. The world of politics isn't really complicated if you think about it. But anyways, I'm going on a little bit of. The point is that Stacey Abrams has suffered another massive L, and well, she's kind of having a little bit of a meltdown over it. But in the end, I have the same reaction. I'm not exactly confused. I don't get why there's any confusion on this topic. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. Alright, friends. So take a look at this. Federal judge upholds Georgia election integrity initiative, including voter ID. Stacey Abrams upset the most. Stacey of fetal heartbeat at 6 weeks as a manufactured sound. Abrams, Democrat candidate for Georgia governor, was delivered a blow by a federal judge on Friday. U.S. District Judge Stephen C. Jones issued a ruling that Georgia's election integrity practices such as voter ID and citizenship checks are legal and constitutional. The Washington Post goes into more detail. Federal judge upholds Georgia election law, and challenge brought by Abrams. Abrams Group filed a lawsuit against Georgia Secretary of State soon after her 2018 election defeat, arguing that Georgia's absentee ballot policies, which require an exact match for names and addresses between voters' IDs and voter registration records, represents gross mismanagement of the state's election system and violated Georgia voters' constitutional rights. A federal judge ruled in favor of the state, however, saying that the law was valid and that the burden on voters is relatively low. And that is exactly correct. This idea that elections should be made less secure is absurd. I've maintained the same stance since the start. If you can do the basic little tasks that are necessary to participate in democracy, like updating your address, registering to vote, having an ID that has the same legal matching name that you registered to vote with, then you don't deserve to vote. Some people say that's harsh, but no, if you can't do the basics, and how are you to be trusted to participate in the electoral process in a certain way? It's not a right, it's a privilege, or it's a right that needs to be earned. You don't just get to willy-nilly walk in and drop a vote. Being part of the democratic process requires a basic understanding of economic and social policy. It requires research, understanding candidates' platforms, not just being told Orange Man bad, and millions upon millions of people heading to the polls with no knowledge whatsoever and casting ballots for the first time, because frankly, they were scammed into thinking a certain way and voting for a specific party that has cultural power. As stated in the legal decision here, the burden is already low, you just got to do the basics. And you got to do a little bit of research and try to understand what's happening. And then you can go and vote. And if you can't do the basic stuff that's required of an adult to participate in adult society, that no, you don't just get the right to cast a ballot for no reason at the cost of the integrity of the entire system. What a stupid notion, what a dumb idea that uninformed people who are unwilling to do the basics should be catered to at the expense of voter integrity and election security makes no sense. And this is the hill that Stacey Abrams has chose to die on. It's another massive L in her career. And I find it so funny how her group filed this lawsuit after her 2018 loss. I'm sure it had everything to do with voter suppression and election integrity, and had nothing to do with changing the voter systems, so that she has a better chance or a better shot at winning, because we all know low voter integrity benefits one party. I'll just leave it at that. How completely ridiculous. The biggest complaint that I'm seeing from Stacey Abrams' group, and all of these left joins on Twitter, is the whole address matching thing. They're making it seem as if it's a ridiculous standard to have to update your license with your new address after you move. I mean, again, This is basic adult responsibility stuff, and it has serious implications. It's really important. If you move out of the state and you no longer reside there, you shouldn't be able to cast a ballot there. Democrats are frankly just upset with election results. That's why this whole thing was started in 2018. And they know through history that looser voting requirements benefits them. And so that's what this is about. And it's once again left-boids taking advantage of sensitive racial topics, and racial issues taking advantage of America's history, and sensitive cultural dilemmas in order to put themselves in positions of power. There is nothing ethical or compassionate. There's no social justice fight here. It's nothing but yet again, another Democrat power grab, just like they're trying to do with illegal migrants, if they can grant them amnesty to be able to vote in elections legally. Well, they want to just get rid of voter requirements. So anyone can vote. You could go to California on vacation to see Hollywood, you could be from anywhere in the world. And just as a tourist attraction, vote in the presidential election. Oh, completely stupid. Now, obviously, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic. But honestly, if it really came down to it, I'm convinced that Democrats, or at least a decent chunk of Democrats, would support that. I mean, I don't even get the argument here. Having to show ID to vote is unconstitutional. What having to update your address and register with the right proper legal name is racist voter suppression? What the stance is that these Democrats are taking open borders, abolishing the police, abolishing voter ID, abortion up to 9 months in the pregnancy. None of it makes sense. It's so ridiculous. And it's no wonder that the champion of many of these policies, Stacey Abrams, continues to be a big fat walking L. It's not racism or voter suppression. Your ideas just suck. And so people don't support you. If you want to win, provide more logical, sound ideas and policies that don't change the voting system to benefit you through these frivolous lawsuits. It's absolutely clownish behavior. What was it, maybe a little bit over a year ago, we covered every single element of Georgia's election integrity bill. None of it, literally none of it, was discriminatory in the least. And so no wonder these lawsuits are failing one after another. And no wonder these Democratic candidates aren't picking up steam in their campaigns. 2022 Stacey Abrams, most likely headed for another massive L, another one to add to the list, cementing her legacy as possibly one of the biggest losers in electoral politics. Thank you so much for listening. God bless. I'll be back soon with another report. God speak to each and every one of you. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for all of your kind words.